Hi and welcome to day 11 of my 30 days learning to hack challenge. Alright, so today you're not going to be seeing my terminal. What I'm gonna be talking about today is this, guys. The OSI model and the TCP IP stuff. Alright, so let's begin. What is OSI model? What is OSI first of all? OSI simply means Open Systems Interconnection Model. OSI now, Open Systems Interconnection. The model. Now, what is it used for? Open System Interconnection. What is it used for? It is basically used to understand the functions of a networking system. That's the simplest form I can say. It is used in understanding the functions of a networking system, and it has 7 layers, as you can see. So beginning from the top, application, presentation, session. I'm going to be taking each of these one after the other, then I'll move over to this one. Alright, so I'm going to start from this way up, from physical data link, network transport, session, presentation, application, because this is the height of it. Okay, so from the very first, which is the physical model, physical layer, which is layer 1, you might want to call it layer 1, physical layer 1. Now let me show you how you can best remember this physical data link, network transport, session, presentation, application. Let me give you an acronym for it. That's something that you use in remembering it. So it is all people seem to need data processing. All people seem to need data processing. Alright? I hope you remember it that way. So all application, people, presentation, scene, session, to transport, need network, data link, processing, physical. All people seem to need all people seem to need data processing. All people seem to need data processing. APSTNDP. Right. So let's continue. I was talking about a physical layer like this. I said I was going to start explaining from bottom to top. Alright, so the very first one, which is the physical layer or layer 1, what is its purpose? This layer has to do or deals with the physical connections, the things that you can see, physical connections between devices. Physical connection between devices. It looks into things like the cables, the switches, routers, and the rest of them. I've mentioned examples already. Cables, switches, etc. I said the physical layer deals or is concerned with connection between cables, connection between switches, connection between routers, and of course, that is what the physical layer is concerned about. Now, the data link layer. The data link layer is the layer that makes certain or makes sure of of reliability in transmission of data along this transmission of data in the network. Data link, the connection, it makes sure that the data that is being passed is reliable. It ensures reliable transmission so that data moving from the physical to get data moving from one system to the other on the network does not say in a network of 5 systems, moving from the first to the 5th one, it does not drop some packages, some frames, some things, it does not lose some things, some data along the way. So data link ensures that this data is transmitted reliably, everything intact. Alright? Between the systems that are on the network, okay? So examples of this are the switches. Sorry, did I mention switch here before? I apologize. Here is cable and cables, hubs, and the rest of them. So the second one has switch. Second one has switch. And then the third layer is the network layer. So third layer is the network layer. Now this is the layer that shows or determines how data is being transferred between networks. It shows how data is being transferred. It determines the pattern, the manner at which data is being transferred between different networks. And it ensures that whatever leaves network A and its destination is network B, it ensures that it gets to that destination. That is what network layer does. So example of tools in network layer, example IP Internet Protocol, IP address, Internet Protocol, the routers, the pinging, the ICMP for pinging. Alright. Then the next one is the transport protocol. The transport protocol here, which we could also call layer 4, makes sure, right, that data is transferred also reliably, almost the same thing as what we saw in data link, okay? But this time it separates data. Separating means segments them, it cuts them, segments them, and manages how the data flows. Okay, now that it has been segmented, assume a bulk data comes in. It has a way of splitting them into smaller pieces, into segments, so that we can manage and control the flow. Do you get that? Is what transport does here. Okay, the data comes in like a flood. It has a way of cutting them, segmenting and separating them in such a way that it will be able to monitor the flow and control how the data moves. Alright, so example of this is TCP and then UDP. TCP and then UDP. Then session layer, which is number 5. Session layer manages or maintains or looks into the management of sessions between applications. sessions between applications. It keeps, it monitors, it manages, it keeps track of connections between applications, and then their communication actually. So it checks to see when did the communication start, when did it end, is the communication, is it still on, is it, and all of those. All right, session. Okay, the sixth one is presentation. Presentation. It ensures that data is the same way it left the first person, the same way it left whoever sent it, it is getting to its destination like that. Presentation ensures data is in a usable format. It ensures that data is in a usable format. So if it was encrypted, by the time it gets to where it's going to be used, it's encrypted. So it handles encryption, decryption, handles compression, it handles translation, and all of that, converting data from this format to this format. So it makes sure that data is in the format at which it's needed to be used at a particular time. Then the last thing we want to see is the application layer. Application layer. In this layer is where network services are provided. This is where network services are provided, like HTTP, HTTPS for the web. Then you have file transfer protocol for send transfer, FTP. You have, these are services, network services. So this is where network services are provided. It is in this application layer, and network services are provided. All right, let's move on to see the TCP IP stack. I'm going to start it from here. So the application layer of this guy, the TCP IP stack, it combines 1, 2, 3. So everything that these three guys are doing, like I stated earlier, everything that these three, the application presentation session, is what this guy does in this session. So TCP IP model or stack has just 4 layers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one, application, is a combination of these first three, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the transport layer is also transport here. Remember what we said transport does? Do you remember? Excuse me, we said it's when data comes to it, when data gets to data that is meant to be transferred, data that is meant to be transported, it will segment the data from being bulk, segment it into smaller segments, so that it can control and monitor the flow of that data. Alright, so that is what this one does over here. Alright, the internet guy. Internet is what network layer does in OSI. Internet does it for TCP/IP. Then we have the network access finally, which is a combination of the last two, data link and TCP. Alright, data link and TCP. So a major thing I want us to understand, basically, first, the difference between these two is that OSI model is made up of 7 layers, as you can clearly see. Then the TCP/IP model or stack is made up of 4 layers. Alright, and they are used, OSI model is used as a reference. I told you before, to understand how networking protocols are built. That is what this one is for. To understand networking protocols. While this other one is a simpler version of everything this guy is doing. Simpler version. So it also is also to understand network and all of that. But this one helps it makes it easier, makes it simpler, makes it more practical. More practical. It is more practical, and this is the one that powers the internet. This is the one. This one, yes, is good, is detailed and all of that. But in terms of application, in terms of use, this is the one. Alright? So you can ask questions in the comment section where you do not understand. I don't have means of importing graphics and all of that for now. So this is what I understand about this. So share your own views, what you understand. Or if you have a better definition and explanation, go ahead, share your views in the comment section. Thank you very much everyone for your time. Bye. See you in day 12.